Hello, I make this video for the person that identifies as chosen. And I think I'll begin the conversation and say that your peace of mind matters and that you don't have to play games with anybody and you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. I start by saying that. So, with this video here, I want to discuss what we think is being strategic around people. A lot of times what we think is being strategic and using wisdom around groups of people in particular on the job. I used to think that it was strategy, but in a lot of cases I thought about it, it's not strategy. You're just modifying your own personality to fit there. And I don't think that that's strategic. The reason being because what I found is it's like the way that you are on the job today as an amalgamation of what happened to you on the previous jobs. So the version of you that's showing up at that current job is everything else that happened to you in the past, right? I forget what that's called. It was called some principle about the job you have now, the level of competence you have is based off of what you did in the past. Okay. And the version of you that shows up on the job is based off the experiences you had in the past, even the unfavorable experiences. So I found that when you change your behavior or you modify your behavior to being quote unquote strategic or being smart, you're modifying your personality, A. And when you leave that job, the part of you that was not modified before that, you may end up losing that part. And that company or wherever you were at, they claimed a piece of you. And maybe they may own somatic memories in your nervous system that automatically triggers up stresses and make you on high alert. But what I found is each time I would leave a job and I would call myself trying to adjust or quote unquote being neuroplastic or exercising resilience, that I ended up almost losing parts of my personality or end up losing parts of your skill because of what you had to deal with from the previous environment. The other thing is, it's not just nowadays, it's not enough just to go in and do your job. It's a type of an emotional resource that you have to expend, be in environments you know you ought not be in. Now, one of these resources you will find is you are always, your nervous system is always in high alert. You can't get into that state of flow when you'll have this funny feeling in your mind and in your stomach. You know what it is. You'll find yourself now being extra careful about what you say, or you'll have this unnecessary internal narrative going inside your mind that may or may not even be true. You find yourself being careful about every email you send, thinking about what you need to say, worried about what you should have said at the metrics board in a certain meeting, sitting back waiting why somebody hasn't sent reply to your message. And it's like, that takes a toll on you. And it's like nowadays, most of the stuff that's being done on the job has nothing to do with the work itself. You know, and it's like something as simple as trying to communicate with somebody is like a war with words. And Nobody, and it's like what we call communication now. I don't even know if you could necessarily classify it as de jure communication. It's like every word somebody say is not a genuine conversation. It's always some tactic, some strategy to trick you into doing something or to hide something. And it's like, who can have a healthy mind in an environment like that? And the one thing I can say, I've been in the world of work for a long time, it hasn't always been like this. And it seems like every conversation you have with somebody, it seems like it's some type of onboarding process, or it's always some type of ulterior motive where you playing chess with words just trying to have a conversation with a person. And it's like, to me, what I've seen on the job is like the way companies are structured now, you're institutionalized the same way you would be like you're in a prison, you know? And I would say to you, the chosen person, that uniqueness, I say this with every video, you protect that. It's in that uniqueness and that skill that you have a gift that not only can it improve your life, but it can improve the lives of others. And don't throw that away. And don't be ashamed of that, because you may be in an environment that may feel threatened by it. And I'm going to say to you, not only do you be encouraged, but it's okay to get out of environments that are causing you harm. Because what I've noticed, each time I've stayed in an environment too long, when it started to become toxic, you say to yourself, yeah, everything is fine. But your body knows. When you're getting ready to have a conversation with somebody, you feel this weird vibe that don't took over your body. Or when it's time to go to work, the environment is making you sick and you got to do all this extra stuff to get you to go to work. You know it's time to get out of there. And it's not about if you are weak or if you are strong. It's about protecting your mind so when you go home, you can produce and be the best family member you can for your husband, your wife, or your children, and so that you are actually good company to your own self. Because we experience life through our two ears, and that experience is your conversations you have with yourself and how you feel about yourself is how you interpret the world. And if you in an environment that's infringing on that or has convinced you to do a Jedi mind trick on yourself to shrink to fit, it's time to go. Thank you for watching.